Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night Anamkara meditation program. With all my heart, with all my love, I welcome you to our program tonight. So glad you're joining us. So I thought it would be nice to be able to just have an open time to be able to talk some. We often do that at the end of the program and sometimes at the beginning. So tonight seemed like a good time to be able to, if anybody had any thoughts, questions, anything they wanted to share, anything that's come up. I covered a lot of material 2 weeks ago when I was talking about the Shiva Sutras. And so we were looking at chapter 3 of the Shiva Sutras, which is also known as Anu Yoga. Anu means just a tiny dot, a point. And it refers to the individual identified with limited mind, limited body. And so we become contracted. We go from the infinitude of being to just being this little tiny itsy bitsy point. That's an Anu. And so the Anavapaya of the 3rd chapter of the Shiva Sutras opens the door to looking at, on a practical level, what do we do with that? So we were talking about that last time. I don't know if anybody has any questions or reflections on that. But this is just the time if anybody has anything that they wanted to bring to mind.
I've been trying energy healing lately. What's your opinion on that?
Energy healing. Well, on one level, all healing is energy. So depends on, what's the skill level of a practitioner, what's their capabilities. And so it's certainly something that we can make use of. And, yoga is founded on, Kundalini yoga, founded on Shakti Kundalini, pure energy. That's why so many spontaneous healings happen when people have Kundalini awakening and engage in a Shakti mantra, a Chaitanya mantra, awakened mantra, like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Kali Ma, mantras from just the tradition I pass on, but there are others as well. And so making use of that, absolutely. It's the mind gets caught in duality. Oh, there's a material world and there's an energy world. No, even physics will tell you there's only energy. It's all about energy. And it vibrates at different levels, frequencies, everything, energy levels. So even when you're taking a substance, what are you taking? A bound form of energy that's going to interact with other bound forms of energy in your body to produce changes? It's all energy. So what we have to have is the discernment to both understand that and also understand what's the capacity. Somebody nowadays, it's Kali Yuga. It's a lot of people, oh, I'm a healer. I had an experience, I'm a healer. So you have to use your discernment, you have to use your discrimination and really get a sense of that. And how does that work for you? Interestingly, one time, I remember this was decades ago, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was asked by somebody who had, a long-term illness and was going to go to a doctor, and they said, somebody asked about that. It wasn't that person they were asking about it. This friend saying, "What do you think? What's going to happen? And the Dalai Lama looked at him and said, "Well, it also has to do with the karma of the patient and the karma of the doctor." So there are all these different levels of what's karma. Oh, that's bound energy, energy from the past, energy from other lives, all kinds of dynamics going on that our mind likes to simplify and just go, oh, I just, go do this. Well, yeah, the mind will do that. But we can also have the discernment go, oh, there's a lot going on. So I really have to see. I have to maintain my discernment, my presence, my awareness, my consciousness, and don't go unconscious. And it's why in Shakti sadhana, a Shakti mantra is so important, because mantra, the power of mantra, remember, the power of mantra is Shakti itself. It's the one who created every atom, every cell, every molecule of your body. So it's why the great Shaktis took refuge in mantra, because running the power and energy of pure mantra through the body really supports that. And it can support even having an intuition. Oh, I should pursue this other thing. I should get the help of this kind of doctor, or pursue this kind of thing. Or, gee, I'm lacking some mineral or element in my diet or something. I mean, people have all kinds of intuitions that come up because of the unfolding of this power of consciousness. And so, yes, we're attuning and trying to understand all those different levels, and also gain the support of what's a fully empowered, unfolded Shakti. Well, the best of that is Shakti mantra, as well as being in the presence of those who have had that experience and moved through that. And it's serve as a conduit for that. And some healers are very good at being able to serve and that healing function of the Shakti, the energy.
I have a question. Is not all healing self-healing, and being with someone else's energy only as a facilitation to access our own ability to heal ourselves?
That's a complicated question in a sense. Yes, all healing is self-healing because there's only the self. There's only one. So you just have to expand. When people often say it's all healing is self-healing, they're talking about just their little self. Remember, we're talking in the Shiva Sutras, in this third section, right? So Atma Chittam, the limited individual, is mind. And so that contracted sense of being, of little self, is often what that phrase, all healing is self-healing, is referring to the limited self of that Atma in its limited nature. So we're talking much bigger, much broader perspective than that in terms of what energies are happening, yes, because you may not have that power or that energy available to you in the moment. It's their essential nature, but if it's bound, you don't have access to it. So coming into contact with a person, a mantra, a practice that helps engender that, reinforce it, give it a boost.
Right, okay.
Almost like homeopathy. You know, they try and distill the quintessential energy of a substance that would be then beneficial to help promote healing. So there's different ways of looking at it, but I think in terms of yoga sadhana, what we're really looking at in that is, how do we heal, this rift between my individual seeming self and my universal self? Because yoga is very focused on, we need to come to know the infinite as our own being, as our own self. And that is the critical focus then of this kinds of practices and approaches.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Partially on what you just were speaking to, Lawrence, what I was sitting with was continuing to try to understand the nature of my longing. It's this previous discussion that you and I had. I think it's a shared one of, people seeking, longing. And I was about to try to ask or begin to understand where does that come from, or the source of that? Is it, you were just speaking to that to some degree, about the self knowing the divine, knowing its divine nature, essence.
Right.
But if there's something more anything more to add to that, I'll leave it open.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, longing, and we've discussed it, and it comes up a lot, and it comes up in many of the poet saints. Kabir famously said, "Look at me, I'm a slave of that longing." That's the longing for the divine, to know the divine, is like an inner fire. It's the yagna that burns up the obstacles between the individual's, identification and reclaiming our identity with the infinite. That subsumes and includes individual identity. We don't give up the individuality and just, become a blob on the floor. It's additive. It's add the infinite. Know the finite, that too is divine. There's no duality. Something's divine, something hasn't, got to abandon something else. All that kind of thing goes with dualistic approaches. This is saying, this longing, and as the yogis contemplated it, looked at it, discern that, and mystics across centuries and have visited that, because it's something that comes up for every genuine seeker. What's driving that? It's the longing to know, well, who am I beyond this? You begin to intuit there's a greater reality. There's the magnificence, the glory of the infinite, the divine. You may have had momentary experiences of it. You may have gotten dissolved in it. You may have just read something that was very moving about it and went, whoa, I want that. And that longing is in a sense, a vibration. It's an energy. You can feel it as an energy, because it becomes a motive force. So it's energy that drives the system. And now it's both arising from within, but it's also seen as that is a gift of grace itself, that longing is also part of what unfolds in sadhana. That's a gift from the divine. Sometimes it's likened to, when there's a lightning bolt. You see this big crash of lightning and it hits the ground. What most people don't understand is not only is there a charge developing in the clouds above, there's an equal charge developing in the ground. For lightning to go from cloud to ground, or sometimes it goes from the ground to the cloud, both charges are there. And so it's been used as a wonderful analogy for building that charge. Building that longing is that charge that then creates this lightning bolt of connectivity. This energy, what's a lightning bolt? It's pure energy. It's fiery, hot energy. It burns things in the way. That's why it's used as an analogy for what's going to cut through. We have the lesser desires. We have the lesser longings. We have the little longings that go with that little atma chittam, that little limited I consciousness. Oh, I long for this pleasure. I long to be at ease. I long to be comfortable. I wish these things went smoothly. I wish this would happen. I wish all those things. I'd like this thing to go away. Those are all filled with the energy of longing. But what is it? It's a longing that keeps us entrapped, engaged in the ordinary world, and thinking that freedom is going to come through the satisfaction of those limited longings. So sadhana begins when we go, oh, wait a minute. I've been down that path so many times, and none of those things last. They don't work. I want something that is going to be not just more of the ephemeral world. Then we're seeking the eternal, because there's only two choices, right? Stay in the ephemeral and play that game, or start seeking what's your eternal nature, what's your unchanging nature, what is sat, right? As in Sat Chit Ananda. What is Sat? That which is the same at all times in all places, the very nature of your being. It's consciousness, it's Chit Shakti. And what's its quality? Ananda, blissful, rapturous, loving ecstasy. That's who we are, right? So the longing for that is the one longing that you cultivate. And that one longing, it winds up consuming all the others. And so that's why the yogis would talk about it. Just throw the other longings into the fire of that longing for the one.
Thank you.
Lawrence, you had mentioned Chaitanya mantras. So, so how does one go through the process of receiving these? Does it happen in certain formal kind of structures, or does it happen in a class like this, or how does it happen?
Yeah. Good question. And the answer is yes, it can happen in a formal, ritualized kind of context. That used to happen more formally when we were holding retreats and making use of, being in person. But Shakti is not limited. She's not limited to what's present. We're present together. And you know what? We're present in this field of consciousness. We're present in this field of the energy of consciousness that quantum physicists are talking about. That's all there is a field of energy out of which precipitates the seeming existence of ephemeral forms. So when I give you Om Namah Shivaya, I go Om Kalima, Hamsa, Aham, Om Taritam Soha. These are filled with that Shakti, not from me as a little me. They come from the Shakti, because that's what I was given. That's what opened the door. And then, my teacher said, now, Just pass it on. Just give it all away. It's like Kabir. No, you know the story of Kabir, yes? And how he so desperately longed to get the mantra. But he was not of the class to get the mantra from Ramanand. And so he had to scheme to get the mantra, because the mantra back then was only given to Brahmins. He was not a Brahmin. And so he schemed. His longing was ferocious. You want to know longing? Know Kabir. So what did he do? He came up with a plan. And he knew that Ramananda went to the river every morning, early in the morning, for his bath. And he'd go down these stairs to the river. And so Kabir digs a hole at the bottom of the stairs and gets in the hole and covers himself with leaves, knowing Ramananda's going to come down and step on him. Right? He's going to get two forms of initiation. He's going to get the touch, and he's going to, now it turns out, because as Ramananda comes down and steps on him and goes, oh, Ram, 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 because Ramananda is just immersed in Ram. Kabir jumps up and goes, now you gave me the initiation. You touched me. You gave me the initiation. You proclaimed Ram, Ram, Ram. Now I have it all. I have it all. Ram, Ram, Ram. Right? And there he goes and becomes enlightened. I mean, and he's so ecstatic. He's so ecstatic. He goes to the rooftops and he starts going, Ram, Ram, Ram. And he's giving the mantra to everybody. And so, sure enough, some of Ramananda's disciples hear about this and they go to Kabir. What are you saying you got the mantra? You're not allowed to have that mantra. He goes, yes, I do. I have this mantra because my guru, Ramananda, gave it to me. And his sacred foot touched me. I got Shaktipat. It's all good now. So the disciples, the Brahmins, go running back to Ramananda and say, oh, what is this we hear you gave this weaver Shaktipat? You gave him the mantra. And Ramananda looks at him and goes, he is my one true disciple. Because he's the one who had that longing. He didn't take it for granted. Oh, I get to have the Guru's darshan, I get to sit in the courtyard, I get to chant mantras, everything's good. Their whole attitude was the block. Their whole identification with caste was the block. All these blockages. They're living in the presence of a great siddha, and they didn't get what Kabir got and passed on to countless others. No limit to the Shakti. Om Namah Shivaya. Chaitanya mantra. My guru gave me that and then told me to take it into prisons. I was doing programs in federal penitentiaries, state prisons, just with the harmonium and a mantra, and saw extraordinary experiences that inmates had, locked in, cement and steel. I want to talk about being bound, literally bound, and having experiences of transcendence, of true freedom, of coming to know who they are. This is what's possible through mantra. The ordinary mind makes things ordinary. And so it takes things like mantra. Yeah, just another word. So many words. It's bombarded by words day and night. Loses its discrimination. Probably didn't even have it to begin with. We have to cultivate that. So viveka, discrimination, knowing the difference between true self and false self, little self. And knowing where to take refuge. Knowing that longing carries us to the one, just as surely as the river carries the water to the ocean. And the deeper we go into mantra, the more mantra Remember, mantra is consciousness. See, even when you hear the word mantra, it has to pass through the filter of the mind. And the mind goes, oh, mantra, yeah, some words, some syllables. Sounds nice. No, mantra is living Shakti. Living, the living form of the infinite. Given by the infinite to enter this level of reality. To give us a handle. To draw us back into union. A union that was never broken, but we lost consciousness of it. So mantra, we dissolve the mind in mantra. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. With the awareness, I am that. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chirananda Rupaha. Shivoham, Shivoham. That's the awareness that's alive in you as the source of mantra. So ultimately you come to know how mantra is throbbing within you all the time. There is no external source of anything. It's not that it's just, oh, isn't all healing self-healing? All freedom is self-born. The self reveals the self to itself. The Upanishad said that thousands of years ago. It's an eternal truth. So when we follow these literally divinely given, divine from your own self, that helps to refine the instrument of consciousness we call the mind, so that it can begin to perceive Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, just arising, throbbing, just Om, throbbing. Then, even Om, even the sounds of mantra that are just throbbing within the Sushumna, throbbing within the subtle body. Now, they dissolve all sense of differentiation so that you dissolve in the stillness of infinite being that incorporates all sounds, all mantras, all forms, everything within you as you. That's how divine you are. Right now. Not some other time. Now. So the longing is to know it now. All there is now. So we make use of the mantra in practice, it's dissolving into that. What does that mean concretely? In Anuvapaya, that's where we just go, oh, we feel the body. We go, oh, essence of body. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Every cell is throbbing with the life force that emanates from Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Every molecule, the flow of the breath, the pulses of the mind's thoughts, Om Namah Shivaya, all rooted in mantra. Chitta Mantraha. Now we're in the second chapter of the Shiva Sutras. Chitta Mantra. The essence of mind is mantra. See, this is how this can take us. We can jump on the conveyor belt any moment. The Shakti is continuously going, come on, jump on the Ferris wheel anytime. I'm going to take you all the way. You're caught in the body, it's okay. That's just an illusion. Come on with me. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, yes, let me dissolve in that. Now, dissolving means letting go. What are we letting go of? Oh, I'm just this guy sitting here in this town doing this. I'm just this person. I'm just this whatever. I just have this life. I just have this body. I just have this gender. I have this. I don't have that. I wish I had more of this. I wish I had less. That stuff. That's what we let go of. To go, Om Namah Shivaya. I am Shiva. I am Shakti. Till there's nothing left. in the stillness, in the spaciousness. We come to know that in every cell in your body throbs with that, is enlivened by that. You would have no life without that. You would have no thought without that. Your heart wouldn't beat without that. Even the bound, ephemeral existence of mind and body rests on the eternal alone. So we come home to that over and over and over. And we leave less and less and less. So we come to abide in that. The mind and body become transparent to that. The light of the self shines through you. Even as you go about fulfilling your dharma in this life. We don't abandon dharma. Husband, wife, part of a community, everything. That's our dharma. The dharma is sublime. Lord Krishna, an expression of dharma. The Pandavas knew where there's dharma, there's victory. Well, it's not just the victory of external foes. It's the victory over the delusion of the mind, thinking it's just this little ephemeral self. That's what we come to. That's where we're invited. The invitation is continuous. Come, come. And one of the forms that invitation comes as? Longing. 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 The infinite longs for your knowing embrace. Shiva and Shakti. Embracing. Dissolving to one. All forms are her form. She gives birth to it all. So we dissolve in mantra to know that. Know that. Revel in that. Roll around in it. Every part of our body wants to know that. It wants to participate. How does the body participate? Through joy, through rapture, through ecstasy, through delight. We get goosebumps. We hyperbolate. It's the Shakti. Yes, yes, life. The mind participates, becomes luminous, has beautiful insights. And it becomes still. And full knowing, full knowing. Oh, that is stillness. That unfolds in stillness, in silence. The silence of the divine embrace. Always, right here, right now. That's what you long for. Because yourself already knows. Yourself already knows. You live in the divine embrace, not knowing. Like the babe asleep in mother's arms, not knowing, held in love. Has to wake up to know. it squeals in delight. That's us. That's us. All this talk about mantra. Why listen to me? Let's chant mantra. Let's chant Om Namah Shivaya. Let's become absorbed in the one. And so we'll chant Om Namah Shivaya for a few minutes, and then just sit in the stillness. At the end of meditation, I'll ring a gong, and we'll do a few rounds of Om Namah Shivaya and close for the evening. But now it's time to dive into the ocean of nectar we call mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Yes, it means something. I bow to the auspicious one within everything, as everything. But so much more important than that is that throb of the power of consciousness, the power of revelation and transformation. All mantras are born of Kundalini Shakti. She who gives the form of the whole Sanskrit alphabet. All mantras arise from her. Gifts imparted. Means of creation. As Matrika Shaktis, they create the mind in this limited self. But as pure Shakti, a mantra, brings us back to union with the one, the truth of who we are. So chant Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, for a few minutes, and hold that awareness that you are the mantra. You are the mantra. I am the mantra. I am the source of mantra. I'm the repeater of mantra. They're all one. There's just one. Seems to be these other forms. That's just the appearance, the play of appearance. The Shakti's play. We want to see past the play. Go, oh, it's just all the one. A fire can dance and have many different looking flames. But they're all fire. They're all energy. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. You are that. You are that one. Shri Matakali Mahadevi Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Om Namah Shivaya. 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 And rest in that. Over and over, take refuge. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. It's all Shiva. Every thought, every perception, every sensation, every memory. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. The truth of who you are. Om Namah Shivaya. Mahadevi ki jai. So we end with this prayer, and may all our practices truly benefit everyone, and may all beings know complete freedom from suffering. Namaste. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Throb of the infinite, your own self. It throbs its sound, the sound form of mantra. It also has a light form, the very light of awareness that illuminates your experience right here, right now. The light of awareness that lets you know what's your body feeling, what's the mind thinking, what's happening around you. That light, that's Shakti. That's Shakti. Aham. I am. I am. The eternal I am. Illuminates the ephemeral, the little I am. Atma Chittam. All illuminated by Shakti. You have Shakti. You have mantra. You don't need the Shiva Sutras. You don't need any scripture. The source of all scriptures, your own sublime self. Go to that well. Drink deeply. There you come to know it all directly. But studying the text helps keep the mind out of trouble. Helps to run these higher, clearer, purer thought forms that also transform the mind on the level of mind. So we engage in practices. We engage in contemplation. We never cease mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So once again, with all my heart and with all my love, I thank you for coming tonight, bringing your divine presence, bringing your sublime commitment to practice, bringing who you are as carriers of that wisdom. That you do the practices and then you walk the fruit of practice, the gifts of grace, the gifts of wisdom, the gifts of loving compassion. You walk it into your lives. Everyday life is the crucible in which we come to know the infinite as our own self and live it fully into this world. So thank you for being ones doing that. And I look forward to seeing you again.